Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and today we're going to be talking about a movie watch challenge that I've created. This is specifically for myself to get me to finally watch these movies, because these are movies that I have never seen before, and I don't know why. I've just been putting it off, and I just needed a reason to do it. Just go ahead and watch these movies. So the perfect way to get me to do that is to create a movie watch challenge. So the theme for this movie watch challenge is 80s horror movies. And normally in the past, my movie watch challenges I've done based on holidays. So I've done like a Christmas movie watch challenge, 25 horror movies for Christmas, and a Valentine's Day one, 14 horror movies. So this one, the number was a little arbitrary. I just knew that there were a lot of 80s horror that I haven't seen yet. So I just decided to go ahead with 30. And just so happens that September has 30 days in it. So I'm planning on starting on September 1st and going through the 30th. So the only criteria for these movies is that they're 80s movies, movies I haven't seen, and movies that I'm able to find streaming. So there were some that I really did want to watch that I still haven't seen that I just couldn't find streaming anywhere. So I do have a couple of honorable mentions that are not on this list. And if for some reason I was looking in the wrong spot, or I could find them streaming somewhere, then I will go ahead and watch them as well. So I'll go ahead and mention those honorable mentions real quick. So my first honorable mention is Possession from 1981. This is one that I have been wanting to watch for a very long time, and for some reason it is just not available streaming anywhere. So that's one that was really high on my 80s movie watch list, but I can't find it. So if I do find it streaming somewhere, I will absolutely watch it. But also in that same boat is Der Fan, or Der Fan, The Fan, the German film from 1982. That's another one that I've heard some really good things about, and that has been one that I've been wanting to watch for a while. So another one that I can't find streaming. And then the last one is a Mexican film called Poison for the Fairies. And from what I've heard, it's pretty underrated. I believe it was released in 86. So yeah, those are all ones that I would have had on this list had they been available streaming somewhere. So hopefully they will come on soon. I know that some streaming services, it changes over from month to month. So possibly in September, some or all of them could come on streaming. So I'm going to keep my eye out for those. And, if you know where to watch them, please let me know in the comments, because they're ones that I really, really want to see. But without further ado, we're going to get into the actual list. And this list is organized chronologically by release date. So we're going to go from 80 to 89, 1 through 30. And the first movie on my 80s horror movie challenge list is Alligator from 1980.
It lives 50 feet beneath the city. It's 36 feet long. It weighs 2,000 pounds, and it's about to break out. A baby alligator is flushed down a toilet and survives by eating discarded lab animals that have been injected with growth hormones. The now gigantic animal escapes the city sewers and goes on a rampage, pursued by a cop and a big game hunter.
I always love a good killer animal creature feature kind of film, so I'm hoping that that delivers on the promise. And number 2 is The Changeling, also from 1980. The first 5 films on this list are from the year 1980.
Whatever you do, don't go into the attic. After a tragic event happens, composer John Russell moves to Seattle to try to overcome it and build a new and peaceful life in a lonely big house that has been uninhabited for many years. But soon after, the obscure history of such an old mansion and his own past begin to haunt him.
I've heard some really good things about The Changeling. I am really excited to see George C. Scott's performance in it, so that's one I have definitely been looking forward to. And next up we have a Jamie Lee Curtis 1980 triple feature, and the first of which is The Fog.
Lock your doors, bolt your windows. There's something in the fog. Strange things begin to occur as a tiny California coastal town prepares to commemorate its centenary. Inanimate objects spring eerily to life. Reverend Malone stumbles upon a dark secret about the town's founding. Radio announcer Stevie witnesses a mystical fire, and hitchhiker Elizabeth discovers the mutilated corpse of a fisherman. Then a mysterious iridescent fog descends upon the village, village and more people start to die.
Number 4 on the list, and the second in the Jamie Lee Curtis trilogy, is Prom Night.
If you're not back by midnight, you won't be coming home. This slasher movie follows a relentless killer who is out to avenge the death of a young girl who died after being bullied and teased by 4 of her classmates. Now high school students, the guilt-ridden kids have kept their involvement a secret, but when they start being murdered one by one, it's clear that someone knows the truth.
And number 5, and the last in the Jamie Lee Curtis trilogy, is Terror Train.
The boys and girls of Sigma Phi, some will live, some will die. A mass killer targets 6 college kids responsible for a prank gone wrong 3 years earlier, and who are currently throwing a large New Year's Eve costume party aboard a moving train.
Jamie Lee Curtis was really rocking her Scream Queen title in 1980, and I love that for her. And next up, and the only film from 1981 on this list, is The Howling.
Imagine your worst fear a reality. After a bizarre and near-fatal encounter with a serial killer, a newswoman is sent to a rehabilitation center whose inhabitants may not be what they seem.
Number 7, and kicking off 1982, is the only anthology film on this list, and that is Creepshow.
The most fun you'll ever have being scared. Inspired by the EC comics of the 1950s, George A. Romero and Stephen King bring 5 tales of terror to the screen.
Number 8, and also from 1982, is the Cat People remake.
They are something more than lovers who are about to become something less than human. After 5 years of separation, Irina and her minister brother Paul reunite in New Orleans in this erotic tale of the supernatural. When zoologists capture a wild panther, Irina is drawn to the cat, and the zoo curator is drawn to her. Soon, Irina's brother will have to reveal the family secret, that when sexually aroused, they turn into predatory jungle cats.
And rounding out 82, number 9 is Next of Kin.
There is something evil in this house. In a rest home for elderly people, a daughter reads her mother's diary. Soon, events that are mentioned in the mother's diary begin to happen to the daughter.
Next up for number 10 is one of 2 films from 1983, and that is Christine.
How do you kill something that can't possibly be alive? Geeky student Arnie Cunningham falls for Christine, a rusty 1958 Plymouth Fury, and becomes obsessed with restoring the classic automobile to her former glory. As the car changes, so does Arnie, whose newfound confidence turns to arrogance behind the wheel of his exotic beauty. Arnie's girlfriend Lee and best friend Dennis reach out to him, only to be met by a fury like no other.
That's one that I've really been meaning to watch, so I'm really glad that I have an excuse to watch it. And next up from 1983, number 11 is Angst.
Based on a true story. A killer is released from prison and breaks into a remote home to kill a woman, her handicapped son, and her pretty daughter.
That's one that I feel like not many people talk about, but it looks pretty scary, so I'm a little nervous to watch it. Number 12, and the first film from 84, is The Company of Wolves.
Now, as then, 'tis simple truth, sweetest tongue has sharpest tooth. An adaptation of Angela Carter's fairy tales, young Rosaline dreams of a village in the dark woods, where Granny tells her cautionary tales in which innocent maidens are tempted by wolves who are hairy on the inside. As Rosaline grows into womanhood, will the wolves come for her too?
And next on the list from 84 is Razorback.
It's waiting outside and it can sense your fear. No nightmare will prepare you for it. In the Australian outback, a vicious wild boar kills and causes havoc in a small community.
Number 14, and closing out 1984, is Night of the Comet.
They came, they shopped, they saved the world. 2 girls from the valley wake up to find that a passing comet has eradicated their world and left behind a mysterious red dust and a pack of cannibal mutants. With the help of a friendly truck driver, the girls save the earth from a villainous think tank, karate chop their way through flesh-eating zombies, and, of course, find time to go to the mall.
Next up, we've got 2 films from 1985, the first of which is The Stuff.
Are you eating it, or is it eating you? Amalgamated Diaries hires David Rutherford, an FBI man turned industrial saboteur, to investigate a popular new product called The Stuff, a new dessert product that is blowing ice cream sales out of the water. Nobody knows how it's made or what's in it, but people are lining up to buy it. It's got a delicious flavor to die for.
And number 16 is Fright Night.
There are some very good reasons to be afraid of the dark. Nobody believes teenager Charlie Brewster when he discovers that his suave new neighbor, Jerry Dandridge, is a vampire. So when the bloodsucker starts stalking Charlie, he turns to has-been actor Peter Vincent, famed for portraying a ghoul hunter. Unfortunately for the would-be vampire slayers, Dandridge has set his sights on Charlie's girlfriend.
That's one I kind of can't believe I haven't seen yet. So many people have gotten on me about it, but I'm finally gonna watch it, guys, I promise. Number 17, and the first film from 1986, is Vamp.
Ever have one of those nights? Two fraternity pledges go to a sleazy bar in search of a stripper for their college friends, unaware it is occupied by vampires.
Also from 86, Night of the Creeps.
The good news is your date is here. The bad news is he's dead. In 1959, an alien experiment crashes to Earth and infects a fraternity member. They freeze the body, but in the modern day, two geeks pledging a fraternity accidentally thaw the corpse, which proceeds to infect the campus with parasites that transform their hosts into killer zombies.
Number 19, and closing out 1986, is From Beyond.
Humans are such easy prey. A group of scientists have developed the Resonator, a machine which allows whoever is within range to see beyond normal perceptible reality. But when the experiment succeeds, they are immediately attacked by terrible life forms.
Kicking off 1987 at number 20 is The Stepfather.
He wanted a perfect family in a perfect town, but they couldn't measure up, neither could the others. A seemingly mild-mannered man who has just murdered his entire family quickly adopts a new identity and leaves town. After building a new relationship with a widow and her teenage daughter, he struggles to hide his true identity and maintain a grip on reality.
Number 21, also from 1987, is The Gate.
Pray it's not too late. Three young children accidentally release a horde of nasty pint-sized demons from a hole in a suburban backyard. What follows is a classic battle between good and evil as the three kids struggle to overcome a nightmarish hell that is literally taking over the earth.
And the last movie from 87 on this list is Prince of Darkness.
Before man walked the earth, it slept for centuries. It is evil, it is real, it is awakening. A research team finds a mysterious cylinder in a deserted church. If opened, it could mean the end of the world.
Next up, we have 5 movies from 1988, and the first of which, number 23, is The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Don't bury me, I'm not dead. A Harvard anthropologist is sent to Haiti to retrieve a strange powder that is said to have the power to bring human beings back from the dead. In his quest to find the miracle drug, the cynical scientist enters the rarely seen netherworld of walking zombies, blood rites, and ancient curses.
Number 24 is Waxwork.
Stop on by and give Afterlife a try. Wealthy slacker college student Mark, his new girlfriend Sarah, and their friends are invited to a special showing at a mysterious wax museum which displays 18 of the most evil men of all time. After his ex-girlfriend and another friend disappear, Mark becomes suspicious.
The Blob remake is coming in at 25.
Scream now while there's still room to breathe. Terror has no shape. Remake of the 1958 horror sci-fi about a deadly blob which is the spawn of a secret government germ warfare project which consumes everyone in its path. Teenagers try in vain to warn the townsfolk who refuse to take them seriously, while government agents try to cover up the evidence and confine the creature.
I am really, really excited to finally see the Blob remake. I've heard so many good things about it, and I'm just so stoked to watch the incredible practical effects in that movie. Number 26 is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
When her great-aunt dies, famed horror hostess Elvira heads for the uptight New England town of Falwell to claim her inheritance of a haunted house, a witch's cookbook, and a punk rock poodle. But once the stuffy locals get an eyeful of the Scream Queen's ample assets, all hell busts out and breaks loose.
And the last movie from 88, number 27, is They Live.
Nada, a wanderer without meaning in his life, discovers a pair of sunglasses capable of showing the world the way it truly is. As he walks the streets of Los Angeles, Nada notices that both the media and the government are comprised of subliminal messages meant to keep the population subdued, and that most of the social elite are skull-faced aliens bent on world domination. With this shocking discovery, Nada fights to free humanity from the mind-controlling aliens.
And the final 3 movies on this Movie Watch Challenge are from 1989, the first of which being The Church.
In this unholy sanctuary, you haven't got a prayer. In medieval Europe, crusading knights massacre a village full of suspected devil worshippers and build a large Gothic church above the cursed remains. It is now present day, and this elaborate cathedral still stands. But when its sealed crypt is accidentally reopened, a group of people trapped inside the church become possessed by the fury of the damned.
Number 29 is Puppet Master.
Evil comes in all sizes. A Jewish puppet maker who's discovered the secret to creating living puppets commits suicide to avoid capture by the Nazis and hides his beloved and harmless puppet children in a California hotel. Years later, a cult of magicians arrive at the hotel under the invitation of an ex-member who betrayed them all, only only to find that he's dead, and that the living puppets, under the influence of a new puppet master, have turned murderous.
And bringing it all home at number 30 on this list is Santa Sangre.
Forget everything you have ever seen. A young man is confined in a mental hospital. Through a flashback, we see that he was traumatized as a child when he and his family were circus performers. He saw his father cut off the arms of his mother, a religious fanatic and leader of the heretical Church of Santa Sangre, aka Holy Blood. Back in the present, he escapes and rejoins his surviving and armless mother.
So that is it. That is my list of 80s horror movies for the 30-day challenge. Ideally, it's going to be one movie per day for every day in September, and it's kind of going to be gearing up for Halloween, so I'm super excited about that. We're really getting into spooky season now, and I'm also really stoked to finally just be rounding out some of my 80s horror knowledge with some of these films that have been major blind spots for me never having seen them, so I'm super excited about that, and if you choose to join me, please let me know in the comments. Let me know how many of these you have seen, how many you haven't seen. If you're in the same boat as me and you haven't seen any of them, I would love to know. But yeah, if you choose to do this challenge, I'll be so excited to have you watch along with me. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out a lot. And go ahead and share it with someone if you think that they need a movie watch challenge for September. I know there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in October, so I just wanted to have something a little bit beforehand, kind of spread out spooky season a little bit. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll talk horror next time.